Greetings of the day, everyone. Welcome to Cherry Hive, Blossoming Confidence for Business Women. This is a show, if you're not familiar with Cherry Hive yet, Cherry Hive Facebook Live is a show where we interview talented ladies who not only, we all deal with our own confidence stuff, of course, but we've all got journeys of how we've got to where we've come to be. And this show is about interviewing talented business ladies who share their journey into their world of business. But also, a lot of them help other people to build their confidence too. So they work with clients, customers who also need to be more confident in various ways, whether that's using tools, techniques, or technology, or just being empowered to know certain things that help their business grow. My special guest today is Shalini, and Shalini is she's a law practitioner, and she helps solopreneurs in lots of different ways to build their confidence in their businesses. So I'm not going to introduce her any further. I'm going to let her introduce herself when she comes on in. So I'm going to bring her in now. So come on in, Shalini. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for having me and inviting me to chat with you today. Yeah, so
just tell us
you're
where
right.
you are, because you've got a great background going on there. Just remind us where you are.
I know. I'm in Brisbane, and a couple of times a week I come out to a co-working space, and I come really because of the artwork and the graffiti and the music and the whole funkiness of it. So I'm very much like my clients because I have an online business. I work for myself, and a lot of my work gets done on my laptop at home in my home office. But I need to get out. And I need to see people. I need to get dressed. I need to put some lipstick on. I need to go and have coffee. And I need to be around other entrepreneurs from time to time so that I kind of don't lose my own sort of internal excitement about life.
I get that. I really do get that. Yeah.
So this is my background. And, I get the best feedback about it. So now they actually have rooms here where you can go and sit quietly and do a video, but the rooms don't have this background, and I feel like I'm on SBS or something.
Oh, well, that's stunning. That makes me feel great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So tell us a bit about your journey, Shalini, into the law world. Tell us a bit about that, how you got there, and what kind of inspired you to get there?
Well, it wasn't my first choice in life. I always wanted to be a journalist and a writer. My marriage, though, was arranged when I was had just finished my communications degree, and my husband was a lawyer, and he put me through law school actually, and so my journey into the legal world began then. I was always bright enough to do it, and at school it was something that they would have liked me to have done it, and my parents would have liked me to have done it. But I don't know, I just didn't want to do it when I, entered uni the first time. So, and then we went to Fiji, and I did all the business setting up for the legal practice that for my husband, and he was always in court. So all my talent or my love lies in business building, but my qualifications went into law because that's what our life was at the time, and it just made sense to do a law degree. It turned out I was good at that too, but I just was more excited about building businesses and being around people who are building them than I was excited about being in the courtroom or, drowning in papers and submissions, even though I was good at them. That's still what I do now, just for him is prepare high court submissions and stuff. But legally, Shalini is the business I've created so that I can be around startups and entrepreneurs all the time in one way or another. So that's how I got here. I think when we look back on our lives and on our journey and just take a snapshot of what we're doing at any given point in time, it's always where we were headed.
Yeah, sure.
And this is where I was headed. I really love it. I don't find it a brain or energy or a time suck. I just love doing it. So and the world has changed. Legal practice has changed. I'm running. I have a fully fledged legal practice, but it only exists to be able to run the business that I have for my clients. You good?
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, I just realised that I've got the aircon going on here, and I didn't know if it was getting picked up by the mic. So I just thought, oh, better just turn that thing off. That doesn't always kind of come across well.
Yeah, so that's really how it is that I've arrived at this point. 4 years ago, I was quite sick. I had gone on a boat trip and came back with some awful virus that I'd picked up. And I lay in bed for almost 3 months recovering, and I thought to myself, it's now or never.
Yeah.
I either do this for myself now and just set out to do what I want to do with the suite of knowledge or qualifications that I had like that. I just thought, well, I got to do it. If it doesn't, and I never actually, to be honest, I never thought of that if it doesn't work or whatever. I just thought, well, you just start by helping one person at a time, which is what I did on Facebook. People would ask questions in the business groups, and I would answer them to the best of my knowledge and ability to help them along. And as time went by, people would message me and say, can you do this for me? Can you draft this document? Can you advise on this contract? Can you help me in QCAT? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I thought, oh, okay. So I just thought, well, I'll start. I have to start, a business. I guess I have to give myself a name.
Good for you.
Yeah, so it wasn't some big business plan thing. It was just like, I think I might just start helping and try to see what happens. Yeah, I think that deep down I'm an educator, and if you're into archetypes and things, I think mine is definitely that of an educator. So it came fairly easy to me to share what I know, because I'm learning all the time, and then I just pass it on. So it worked quite well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, it's great that you have such a great background to be able to lend itself well to a different area. So, you didn't want to go into the arena that your partner's in, but you wanted to use that same skill set, but use it in a different way, really, in terms of something that really kind of, put that fire in your belly a little bit more and gave you that kind of sense of, you're helping, you see the help that you're giving people because it's kind of on the ground and helping people to flourish, helping people to get off the ground. So tell us what you do in terms of helping solopreneurs. What kind of things do you do to help them in their business?
Well, 4 years on, the business or the folks that contact me, it's almost I could almost draw a picture and say that they're usually they've usually come from some kind of working life where they've worked for someone, and over a period of time they've realized they've wanted to do something else. So they've redefined themselves, they've redefined their goals, their aspirations, and they've decided they want to create a business that they've always kind of dreamt about. And so they don't know where to start. And that's where I educate the startups, because my thing is that they have a lot of information available to them about marketing and, getting to that $100,000, 6 figures, or whatever the hell
whatever the buzzword is at the time. Yeah.
Yes, whatever the buzzword is at the time. But very few of them know about just how to set themselves up in a few with a few legal documents that will just serve them really well in their business. And really, those documents sit wherever there's a transaction. So, if you're seeing clients and making money, that's a really good start. If you're charging money, if you have a website and you're selling something, that's a really good start. So it's really putting into perspective for them that what it means to have a business outside just the marketing and the hype. So, for example, someone may be setting up mostly they're online businesses. So there are people who are setting up an online presence of some description, and they really have no idea what it is that they are doing in terms of the transactions that they're having with the community, the obligations they have, and how they need to educate people who are going to spend money on their business, how they are to conduct themselves or what they need to do to make that transaction work for the business owner. And client education is everything. The more you educate your client, the more they know how you work, the more you make it easy for them. The more seamless business will be for you. But if you leave them to guess, if you leave big gaps in their knowledge for them to make assumptions, then you do set yourself up for a lot of discussions, a lot of email interchanges, a lot of requests for refunds, a lot of unhappy clients, a lot of bad reviews. All of this can be perfectly managed if you learn the art of educating your client. And really, that's what I do. That's, if you were to say, what's the higher level work behind, the documents are the end product, but it's getting you to understand that you are the captain of your ship. What you tell the world is what they will believe about your business. If you can teach them how to behave, then they will behave well. But if you leave it up to them to behave how they want, then you need to take the consequences, which are usually quite time consuming, energy consuming, and, takes the joy out of business most times. I've lost you. I've lost your sound. I can't hear you, Karen.
People hear me? Can people hear me? Can you hear me?
I've got you back now. Yeah, I've come back.
Alrighty, let's see if we're back on the show. Let's see if people can hear us back here. These things happen with live shows. They sure do. Oh,
Okay,
I'm back.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Please, that's the great thing about live shows, Shalini. You know what? You have a lot of fun. Hey, just remember, just think you're on SBS. Hey, and we've just had a bit of a blackout.
Well, it happens. Sometimes I'll be doing a Facebook Live on my page, and halfway through I'll realize that it was all broken up into a million little pieces, and I, need to can it and start again.
Oh, I've done that
Yeah.
in the early days. In the early days, I would just do a live or something, and the whole time there would be no volume at all. There would be no sound, and I'm like, "Oh, drat! That was a super stunning show. It's a shame no one can hear it."
So,
But yeah, go on.
I just want to finish. I just want to recap on what I was saying. So, yeah, to me, I think um, you asked me where do I fit in the client
Yes.
journey. So,
Yeah.
it is really about teaching them to tap into that undervalued, I guess, pillar, which is client education about your business
Yeah.
and how you work. And to me, the documents are not about, having a lawyer behind you or having this cast iron document that will protect you from everything. No document does that.
Mm.
That's why we have lawyers. That's why we have courts.
Mm.
Okay, if there were such a thing as a legal document that will protect you from everything in your business, an entire industry would be out of work. So
Sure would.
all those documents do is they educate your client and they
Mm.
provide you with a strong platform for negotiation.
Mm.
And that's where my work lies,
Well, they
is
kind of
in
set the
those,
scene.
yeah,
They set the scene, don't they,
yeah,
Shalini? Like,
yeah,
everyone has terms and conditions, for example, on their websites these days. It's a necessary evil, if you like.
yeah.
Nobody reads them.
But
Everybody ignores them. But the fact is, you only really need them if you need them, and that's when a dispute comes into play. And if you've,
mm,
like you say, if you've been proactive in being great with your clients and looking after them well and taking care of them the best you can. You can't always, because people will complain about anything these days, and you can't really kind of affect that too much. But if you've done what you can as a business owner
consumer,
to protect yourself, that's the main thing,
yeah.
isn't it?
Well, the consumer is quite savvy now. They will complain about something if they're not happy. Some will even
Mm.
complain about things that are, you wonder where they conjured it up from, right? So
Yeah.
when you're having your terms and conditions, for argument's sake, in place, it provides you with something to work from in when there is something to talk about, when there is an issue. If you don't
Mm.
have them, then you don't have anything.
You don't have a leg to stand
The
on, do
law,
you? There's nothing.
yeah, the law will be on the consumer's side
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is why, because business owners have a higher duty of care. You're the ones taking the money,
Mm.
right? So it's your
Mm.
job and your
Mm.
responsibility to educate your clients about how that process is going to pan out, and to give them a choice to back out if they don't want to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's how it rolls. That's how it rolls. So people that come to me and say, I need, I don't think I need these, and I say,
Mm.
well, then you are here because you have got a client who is written to you and has demanded their money back, but you still don't think you need to have extensive or
Mm. Mm.
comprehensive terms and conditions. I
Mm.
said, I cannot help you because we have nothing to work from.
Sure. Yeah.
All we have
Absolutely.
is the legislation which says the client's not happy, they've stated 3 good reasons, you need to give the money back.
Yeah. I
So
think
suck it
the
up.
thing is though,
Yeah.
is a lot of business owners starting out, and you start with people from right at the beginning, don't you? And the
Mm.
thing is, as business owners, I've started many businesses, but each new business that I start, I find that there's always something new to learn. And especially with the legal side of things, like especially online these days, you could start a lifestyle business from your own office and think there's not a lot of things that I need to worry about. But when you start to go online and you start to think of the kind of ramifications and complications of taking money from people at a distance and things like this, you start getting out of your depths very, very easily, I find, as a business owner. And that's when I've been consulting people like yourself and kind of outsourcing the knowledge that I just don't have and couldn't possibly gather in the amount of time
Yeah.
that someone like you can already have available to you and quickly
You
convey
know,
that to me of what I'm supposed to do.
you've raised a very good point. People need to understand that it doesn't matter whether that you are not face to face. Okay. You are still transacting.
Yeah.
There is still a legal relationship. The content on your website, that content, that what you are saying on your website that's a contract between you and the visitor.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that you're selling something on your website, okay, that's a transaction. That's a contract between you and the person giving you money, even though you may be on the other side of the country and selling a soy candle.
Yeah.
Okay. The online course you have, the one-to-many, I want to impart my knowledge to one-to-many. I have, that's wonderful. But understand this, it is still a transaction between you and the person that bought the course. Money has still changed hands. It is a contract. So if you don't have terms in place, someone wants their money back. Unless you are managing that in your terms and conditions, and the person is dissatisfied with what you had on your sales page and what you've delivered, then you will need to refund that money, regardless of whether it's $25 or whether it's $2,500 or $25,000. People must understand that. And so when you are signing up for a course or when you are signing up for a membership program, read the terms and conditions. Make sure they have one in place.
Yes, do they have one? That's a good start.
Because a well-written one will tell you exactly what you're getting.
Yes.
And if it's not what you want, then it's not the course for you. But if it's well written and it is exactly what it is, what they have on their sales page is reflected in the document, then you can be sure that that's the course for you and there should be no problems. But if there's a discrepancy, then you need to walk away. Otherwise, it just becomes a whole lot of heartache because you're unhappy, if you're going to ask for your money back, this and that and the other. So I think that you've raised a really important point, Karen, that people must not think that just by being online that they're distanced from legal responsibility.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's kind of like that thing when, people will kind of be very nice to one another when they're in a face-to-face kind of conversation, or even if when it starts to get a bit kind of into conflict or whatever. But when people are in their cars, they kind of turn into mini monsters, and this is where the kind of road rage comes out. And I think it's a bit like that online, where if you're dealing with a face-to-face business, face-to-face customer, you don't go off like some of the people go off online, because you feel you're quite anonymous online, and you think, oh, you're untouchable and nothing. You don't have to give people their money back. You've got the right to retain that money and stuff. And I don't think people necessarily treat their customers online as well as they should.
Yes, because they don't have to deal with them face to face, and that is why I have a service today. Because online relationships go terribly wrong and become terribly expensive to fix.
Yes.
But I'm every day I am convinced, because I see it happen, that if you go about it with your heart in the right place and you've done everything you can to educate your client and make it easy for them, if you have said to them, here's my terms and conditions, or here's my contract, have a coffee, read it, talk to me about it so we can fix anything in there that needs addressing. You are developing a relationship with that person.
That's right.
That is likely to be a long-term one and positive for your business. So I don't believe that it's that your legal documents or your contracts and agreements are a necessary evil. I believe that they are a critical part of your business toolkit, just as all the marketing stuff is. I think it's another tool that you have to actually, be of service to your client. or to your customer. If people, and that's why my tagline is "Love your legals." Is that's where that's everyone's default. Why wouldn't you have a set that you absolutely love? That's where you go running to when things go wrong. So wouldn't it be better that you give that documentation some respect?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just we don't understand it, and when we don't understand things, we get a bit nervous and a bit scared,
Yeah,
and
and
then
that's
we
why I
think,
do
well, let's just not go there. Let's pretend that doesn't exist, and let's sweep it under the carpet until we find that somebody actually figures out that that doesn't exist.
That's right.
But
The
that's
other
not the way
thing
to
that
do business. No.
the other thing that I have started in recent months to work in the education sector is about startup addiction. That businesses have, and it's something that I have seen in my work where the notion that you confuse the fact that you are a small business with the fact, you confuse the fact that you're a small business with the notion that you are still in startup.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You cannot remain in startup. Startup is not your forever home. Startup is a phase. Once you start seeing clients, once you start charging money, regardless of whether or not you are making money, you have a business. Yes, it's a small business, granted, but you are not in startup. You need to move out of startup and make decisions that will either make you more efficient in your business or get out.
Yes.
Or
No,
change
that's
your
good
model.
advice. That's good
Okay,
advice.
and this is what I'm seeing, is that there is this tendency of people that I've seen who are still 5 years down the track hanging out as a startup. They're still looking for free services. They're still discounting their prices. They're still operating without legal agreements.
Wow.
Okay. And yet they're seeing clients and charging money, and yet they consider themselves a startup. So how is it? I think that you've got to understand at what point do you start thinking that, okay, I now need to pay for the services that I need for my business because I expect people to pay me for mine. I've lost you again, sons. I'm not convinced I like this channel.
Hello. Is anyone there? Hey, have I got you back,
There we
Shalini?
go. Yeah, there you go. So
Hey, the
yes,
connections. The
I can hear you
connection's
now.
the connection's a bit fuzzy and funny this morning.
Yeah, so that's something that I have started educating on and
Yeah.
questioning in the
Yeah.
online space that I hang out in is calling out on startup addiction, where I feel that, well,
I
if you
like
have a
that.
business, yeah, and I've actually had now I have clients who talk to me and say, I really wanted to use that service, but I just noticed they had no privacy policy on their website, or they had no terms of use on their website, or when I went into their shop, they didn't have any terms of sale on their online shop.
Yeah.
And that's a new thing I'm seeing. Like, people are actually becoming aware that, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I said, and what did you do? She said, well, I didn't bother to contact them to tell them. I just went to a competitor.
Yeah, so they never get that feedback. They never find out why their
Because
customers are not
what's
coming
actually
back.
happened so what's actually happened is they've got that thought in their head that I've gone to the trouble of raising the bar for my legals, right? I have my contracts in place. Someone comes into my website, I have them there. So why the hell should I give my money over to someone that hasn't
It
invested in
hasn't
their
got it.
business to raise the level of professionalism for theirs?
And protection.
Interesting, I
And
thought.
protection,
And
isn't it?
protection.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. But, you know, it's a very small world, really, the online world, even though, you know, it seems counterintuitive to think that way. But the just because you're online does not mean that you can be unprofessional or not have your legal responsibilities addressed where they should be addressed. And that's,
Absolutely.
I think, has been the way. And you can see that now, like even with Facebook and the privacy policies, you know, all those things have come to the fore now. And businesses are expected to address them.
Absolutely, and so they should.
And they have done so.
If you're making money from people, you have got to make sure you do the best for the people who are paying you good money for the service that you're putting out there. You know.
So but having said that, it is still difficult for people to, in the solopreneur world, to access legal advice and services that make circumstances for their world.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, I think what is where the overwhelm lies, and where they think, oh, I can't, you know, my local lawyer is not going to handle this, or the big law firm that comes into my feed, excuse me, is not going to be able to manage that. Yeah. So I find that's something that is where I've found the conversation to go. All my work starts with a conversation.
Yeah.
I do nothing until I know about your business.
Well, you've got to know what the business is and whether it's something you can actually go in there. And also, like you said before, Shalini.
No, I actually pick it apart.
But also, Shalini, what you said before, I think, was, is that business owner in the right frame of mind to want me to work with them? Do they really recognize how important what I'm offering to them is? And if they're wanting to get that at next to nothing, they don't really value you and your services. And, you know, do they really value the customer then? Do they really value themselves if they're not willing to buy into this idea that they need self-protection and self-cover?
Well, interestingly, you know, from just taking aside the fact that I provide legal services, and just look at me as a business owner like everybody else for a minute, just like my own clients. I have a service, whatever that may be. The reason why I have a service today is because I have spent an awful lot of time waking up a sleeping market.
Sure.
Okay, it did not happen overnight. Nowadays, people only contact me because they know what I do.
Absolutely.
Okay, they don't contact me for other stuff. They know exactly what I do. And the reason why they know that, and the reason why they find me, whether it's through word of mouth referrals, whether I've answered a question in a Facebook group, whether they've Googled me, is because the last 4 years I have educated without expectation of, you need to hire me to get this information. If I can help you in a post, I will. If you message me, if I can help you, I will. If I can fix a problem. So it's been about having, sparking the conversation in the groups, online, about different types of agreements that affect your business. It didn't happen overnight. This is year 4 of my business. This is the first year I have felt confident that I have a service that is going to make it.
And I think
regardless
that's it,
of what
Shalini. That is it. A lot of people think it's a quick dump and run. They think, you know, I just go in there. And a lot of people that I talk to, they say, I don't know how to sell myself. And I say, well, really, you shouldn't be selling yourself. When you're starting out as a business owner, the last thing people want to do is hear you selling yourself. They want you to build relationships. They want to listen to you and see that you're adding value to their lives in some way. And that's where you're going to start getting customers selling, buying the things that you're selling. You can't just go out there and sell. It's rare these days.
You've got to talk about the problem. You've got to create the scenarios. You've got to talk about what solutions mean. You've got to unpack things down to the simplest of the building blocks for people. You cannot ever assume that they know what they need. They don't. You have to plant the conversation so that they have an opportunity to question themselves and question the world around them.
Yeah.
Because, my service that I started with was website legals, terms of use and privacy policy. Karen, take a sleeping pill and fall over. That's how exciting that topic was. Okay. It was not exciting at all. Okay. How I brought it to the forefront is through education. It's about constantly educating about websites to the point where people who are now with website businesses, it's almost like, oh, well, I have, this is a requirement for my website to be complete. Prior to that, there was no conversation about it.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's really, if people quite often observe, oh, Shalini, you're doing so well. But this is year 4. Okay, this is the first year I have felt that I have a service that I can say, okay, yeah, all right, I am now confident that I can keep doing this and just this.
Stunning. Well, you know what? That is tenacity. That is persistence, and that's what you got to have, haven't you? As a business owner, you've got to stick in there, no matter how tough. No matter how much you don't see the kind of the money coming in, you stick in there. And the people that stick in there, it tends to come back in shed loads.
Well, the thing is, your niche does not appear overnight. Okay, your market doesn't appear overnight.
Sure.
Sometimes you have to cultivate your market. Sometimes you have to wake them up.
Yeah.
You literally have to wake your mind. They're there. They're just asleep. You have not given them the information they need to wake up to your service.
Yeah, well,
I'm a really firm believer in that.
Unfortunately, the legal side of things, which is the most, for most businesses, crucial, is the last thing on the list that people think about and are willing to shell out some money for. But
that's changing.
I'm glad it is changing, and I can see that, and I'm glad that you're out there. And I know that there's a few other lawyers that I'm aware of who are doing this too, and I think it's stunning that you're moving into that online space, and particularly
I've already moved into it. I don't do any other work. I don't.
That's what you do.
All I do is draft online documents. But I'll tell you something else. When you are in startup, if people come to me who are in extreme startup, right? They have just got the idea and they haven't launched anything. I don't draft for them. I teach them how to keep a really good paper trail. I teach them how to talk to their clients online in emails. And I tell them you are not ready for an agreement until you have tested your model. You need to have tested how you're working.
That is good, isn't it? That's good advice.
Yeah. You need to have seen 5 clients at least to be able to come and tell me what you need to run your business and for me to advise you on your legal obligations. I can tell you from the outset, but that's going to be like reading you the whole Bible. Yeah. What you need to know is which chapters apply to your business.
So you're going to tailor that to their business.
That's right. It's no overwhelm is the big reason why people put the legals aside. They just think, oh my God, it's too hard and it's too broad, and I'll end up with like a 40-page document. That is not at all the case. Okay,
Stunning.
it's not at all the case. It's really about how you are running your business. So until you've actually done that, you really then, that's when I need to see you.
Stunning. Well, this is a whole new insight, I think, for a lot of people. So I'm going to put some of this stuff on the copy after the show, because I think you've brought a whole new kind of dimension to what a lawyer does for small business.
Thank you. I hope so. I say that I work like other people. That's for sure.
You've certainly worked hard, Shalini, to get to where you are, and I'm sure you're going to be inundated with people wanting your services, because there is a great need for it at the moment and out there, and it's always going to be the case wherever you are online. So I'm going to put some of these links out on the show.
Excellent.
And so so thanks, Angelique, for joining us. I believe you and Angelique have worked together, because Angelique says that you're great. You did her contracts and did an amazing job. So that's on the copy. So go and have a chat to Angelique after, and say hi to Angelique. And if a lot of people watch this broadcast after the show too, and I'm going to be putting this out, promoting this around. So
Angelique was a perfect client. She was very well prepared.
I can well imagine. Imagine. She's super motivated.
It's very motivated. Made my job almost divinely pleasurable.
I can so imagine. She's gorgeous. So I'm going to put some of your links. Do you want to give a shout out right now to where people can find you?
Yeah, so I have a website, which is the best place to find me, and you can just legally Shalini is what you would Google. So it's legallyshalini.com.au, and there's a link to book in it. If you want to have a chat, the best way to do it is to just book in that 10-minute free chat thing, and it's almost never 10 minutes, because I always have time, a buffer time on either side, because I do want. I would much rather have a chat to you about what you need and don't need before you go off and, make a decision yourself.
Absolutely.
I can sort it in a few minutes for you.
Yeah.
So that's the best place to find me.
Thanks, Shalini. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and you've certainly, created a lot of things for people to talk about and think about in the show today. So I'm really happy that you came on. And
it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thanks for the background. And it did feel like it did feel like being on SBS today, apart from the little breaks in the windows in between. Thanks a lot again, Shalini.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. So Shalini's brought some great things to the show today. If you're fearful and scared and you're shying away from doing the legal stuff, Shalini has just explained how it's not that hard. You don't have to have great big documents to manage your legals in your business. It is really it can be managed really, really easy. And if you're moving out of that startup stage, you need to really grow your business. This is the way to go. Look professional, look like you mean business, by having the proper formalities in place. If you want to come on the show, this is Cherry Hive, Blossoming Confidence for Business Women. Come and share what you do, share your journey into where you are, and share how you help other people, how you enlighten, encourage, just educate, maybe, inspire other people to do the kind of things that they need to do in their businesses. So bye for now, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.